Before humans built the first cities, before the first kings ruled kingdoms, before the pyramids rose from the desert, before history itself had a name, another civilization was already thriving, not beneath the oceans, not hidden underground, but deep inside the forests, where sunlight barely reaches the ground, a world almost untouched, where every sound carries meaning, every movement tells a story, and every family fights to survive another day. This is a kingdom that has existed for millions of years, a kingdom ruled not by crowns, but by intelligence, not by castles, but by ancient trees, not by written laws, but by instincts refined through evolution. Most people believe they already know these animals. They call them monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, simple creatures, living simple lives. But what if almost everything we believe about them is wrong? What if I told you that somewhere inside these forests, there are animals capable of recognizing themselves in a mirror? Animals that can plan for tomorrow, use tools, teach their children, remember old friends, mourn the dead, comfort those who are grieving, build lifelong relationships, protect their families at any cost, and even wage organized battles over territory. Would you believe they were human? Because they are not. They are primates, our closest living relatives. For decades, scientists believed that intelligence, language, culture, and emotions belonged almost exclusively to humans. But every expedition into the rainforest challenged that belief. One discovery after another forced us to rethink everything. Chimpanzees making tools, gorillas showing compassion, bonobos solving conflicts without violence, orangutans planning journeys days before they begin, capuchin monkeys teaching the next generation how to crack nuts using carefully selected stones. The deeper scientists looked, the more uncomfortable one question became. Where does humanity truly begin? And perhaps even more importantly, where does it end? Imagine standing alone in the middle of an African rainforest. The air is warm, heavy with moisture. Towering trees rise above you like ancient skyscrapers. The forest seems silent, but it isn't. Somewhere in the distance, a deep chest beat echoes through the trees. A silverback gorilla far above the canopy. A troop of monkeys leaps effortlessly from branch to branch. A baby chimpanzee laughs as it chases its older brother. An orangutan quietly builds a nest high above the forest floor, preparing for another night. Nothing here happens by accident. Every sound, every movement, every decision has been shaped by millions of years of evolution. To us, it may look like wilderness. To them, it is home. It is a kingdom, a civilization without cities, a society without governments, a world without written history, yet one that has survived far longer than any human empire. How did they become so intelligent? Why do they resemble us in ways that sometimes feel almost unsettling? Why does a mother gorilla cradle her infant almost exactly like a human mother? Why do chimpanzees kiss after arguments? Why do bonobos embrace to restore peace? Why do orangutans spend nearly a decade teaching a single child how to survive? And why do monkeys living thousands of kilometers apart develop different traditions, different techniques, and even different cultures? Perhaps the greatest mystery is not that they are becoming more like us. Perhaps the real mystery is that we are only now beginning to realize how much we have always been like them. For millions of years, the primates have watched the world change. They survived the rise and fall of ancient forests, massive climate shifts, powerful predators, ice ages, volcanoes, and eventually the arrival of a new species, humans. At first, we were simply another primate, walking through forests, searching for food, trying to survive. No cities, no technology, no civilization, only instinct, curiosity, and family. Everything that made us human began with lessons already written into the lives of our ancient relatives. Every child learning by watching, every family protecting its young, every leader defending the group, every generation passing knowledge to the next. The foundations of civilization were born long before civilization itself. Today, modern genetics tells us something astonishing. Humans share nearly 99% of their DNA with chimpanzees, almost 98% with gorillas. Think about that. Every language ever spoken, every masterpiece ever painted, every spacecraft launched into orbit, every city built by humanity emerged from a genetic difference of only a tiny fraction. Could something so small, long before humans walked the earth, before the first villages, before the pyramids, before kings, before empires, before history itself, our planet belonged to a completely different world, a world where enormous forests stretched across entire continents, where giant trees blocked the sunlight, where the air was warmer, the rain heavier, and life was beginning to recover from one of Earth's greatest disasters. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck our planet. The impact changed everything. The dinosaurs that had ruled the Earth for more than 160 million years disappeared. Entire ecosystems collapsed. Darkness covered the skies. Temperatures dropped. Plants died. Animals vanished. For a moment, it seemed as though life itself might never recover. But nature has always possessed one extraordinary ability. It adapts. Slowly, new forests began to grow. Flowers spread across the land. Fruit-bearing trees became more common. Insects multiplied. Birds evolved. Small mammals, once forced to hide beneath the feet of giant dinosaurs, finally had their chance. Among those tiny survivors were the ancestors of every primate alive today. They were nothing like modern gorillas, nothing like chimpanzees, nothing like humans. Most were no larger than squirrels, light enough to move along the thinnest branches, fast enough to escape predators, curious enough to explore an entirely new world. The trees. Life in the forest canopy offered incredible opportunities. Food was everywhere. Fruit, flowers, leaves, seeds, nectar, insects. But living high above the ground demanded completely different abilities. Falling meant death. Missing a branch meant death. Misjudging distance meant death. Every movement had consequences, generation after generation. Natural selection rewarded those who adapted. Their fingers became longer, their hands became more flexible. Flat nails slowly replaced sharp claws. Sensitive fingertips allowed them to grip branches with incredible precision. Their eyes gradually shifted toward the front of the face. Instead of seeing only to the sides, they developed binocular vision. Depth perception changed everything. Now they could judge distances perfectly, leap safely, catch insects, move through the forest with astonishing confidence. But perhaps the greatest transformation happened where nobody could see it. Inside the skull, the brain. Every leap required calculation. Every meal required decisions. Every branch demanded balance. The rainforest became an endless puzzle, and solving puzzles made their brains larger, smarter, more adaptable. Curiosity became one of evolution's greatest tools. Those willing to explore often found more food, better shelter, safer routes. Curiosity saved lives. Millions of years passed. The continents drifted, mountains rose, volcanoes erupted, oceans changed direction, forests expanded, then disappeared, then returned once again. Each environmental change forced primates to evolve. Some species vanished forever, others adapted. Some developed longer arms, others stronger legs. Some became specialists, others became masters of survival. Slowly, the primate family tree grew larger. Scientists divide primates into two great branches. The first became the monkeys, masters of speed, agility, and life among the branches. The second became the great apes, larger, stronger, with even bigger brains. These extraordinary animals would eventually include gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, and much later, humans. Although millions of years separate us today, our evolutionary journey began from remarkably similar origins. That is why primates fascinate scientists more than almost any other group of animals. When researchers study gorillas, they are not simply studying gorillas. When they observe chimpanzees, they are not simply watching chimpanzees. They are looking backward through time, searching for clues about ourselves. Modern DNA has confirmed something astonishing. Humans and chimpanzees share nearly 99% of their genetic material. Gorillas share almost 98%. Even orangutans, who separated from our evolutionary line millions of years earlier, still share around 97%. These numbers are difficult to imagine. The difference between building rockets, writing symphonies, creating medicine, exploring space, and living deep inside a rainforest is hidden within only a tiny fraction of our DNA. Perhaps the question should never have been, why are primates so similar to humans? Perhaps the real question is, why are humans so similar to primates? Because biologically, we are primates. The evidence surrounds us. 5 fingers, forward-facing eyes, expressive faces, long childhoods, strong family, hidden beneath the emerald canopy of Central Africa, where towering trees have stood for centuries, and thick mist blankets the mountains every morning, lives one of the most extraordinary creatures on Earth, the largest primate ever to walk our planet. The gorilla. For generations, people feared them. Stories described them as monsters. Movies turned them into terrifying beasts, powerful, violent, unstoppable. But nature tells a very different story. The truth is almost the complete opposite. Gorillas are not ruthless killers. They are not hunters. They are not bloodthirsty predators. They are peaceful vegetarians, gentle giants whose lives revolve around something surprisingly familiar: family. Deep inside the rainforest, every gorilla family functions almost like a small village. At its center stands one remarkable individual, the silverback. His broad shoulders, massive chest, and distinctive silver-colored fur make him impossible to mistake. An adult male can weigh over 220 kilograms. Standing upright, he can reach nearly 2 meters in height. His arms are incredibly powerful. Scientists estimate a silverback possesses several times the upper body strength of an average adult human. Yet, despite all that power, he rarely uses it. Because true leadership in the gorilla kingdom is not built on violence. It is built on responsibility. The silverback wakes before the others. He constantly scans the forest, listening, watching, smelling the air, searching for danger long before the rest of the family notices anything unusual. Every decision belongs to him: where the family travels, where they feed, where they sleep, when they move, when they rest. A single mistake could place everyone in danger. His family trusts him completely, not because they fear him, but because he has protected them countless times before. Unlike many mammals, gorilla families remain together for years, sometimes even decades. A typical troop consists of one dominant silverback, several adult females, young males, teenagers, and playful infants. Every member has a role. Every relationship matters. The babies spend their days climbing over fallen logs, rolling through soft vegetation, and chasing one another beneath the giant trees. Everything becomes a game: a stick, a leaf, a butterfly, even the enormous silverback himself. The young climb onto his back, pull his ears, tug at his thick fur, and remarkably, this giant responds with incredible patience. He watches quietly, sometimes gently nudging them away, other times simply allowing them to play, because he understands something that nature has taught for millions of years. Every game is practice for survival. The females form the emotional heart of the family. They raise the young together, protect one another, share feeding areas, comfort frightened infants, and constantly strengthen the bonds that keep the troop united. Scientists have observed gorilla mothers displaying behaviors almost identical to humans. They kiss their babies, stroke their heads, hold them close during storms, comfort them after frightening experiences. The similarities are astonishing, sometimes almost unsettling. Watching a mother gorilla cradle her sleeping infant, it becomes difficult to remember that we are looking at another species. The forest itself provides everything they need. Unlike predators, gorillas spend most of their day feeding leaves, wild celery, shoots, roots, tree bark, fruit. An adult gorilla may eat more than 30 kilograms of vegetation every single day because plants provide relatively little energy. They must spend many hours searching for food. Life moves slowly, peacefully, almost rhythmically. Morning feeding, midday rest, afternoon travel, evening nest building. Each day follows the same ancient pattern, repeated across countless generations. But beneath this peaceful routine, danger always exists. Hidden within the forest, another silverback may be watching, a younger male, stronger, ambitious, searching for a family of his own. Every dominant male knows that one day a challenger will arrive. When that moment comes, the entire future of the troop can change. The challenger announces himself long before anyone sees him. A deep, explosive chest beat echoes through the valley. The sound rolls across the rainforest like distant thunder. Birds suddenly take flight. Monkeys fall silent. The babies rush toward their mothers. The silverback slowly rises. Every muscle in his body tightens. He answers with his own chest beat. Louder, deeper, a warning. I am here. This family is protected. This forest has a king. Most confrontations end there. Neither male wants to risk serious injury. Both understand the cost of battle. Broken bow. For millions of years, primates survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, changing climates, powerful predators, disease, competition. They adapted again and again. They evolved, learned, endured. But today, they face a challenge unlike anything in their evolutionary history, a threat they cannot outrun, cannot outfight, cannot outsmart. Humans. Every minute, vast areas of rainforest disappear. Ancient trees that stood for hundreds of years fall within seconds. The sound of chainsaws replaces birdsong. Roads cut through forests that once stretched endlessly across continents. What was once a living kingdom becomes empty land. For us, it may look like development. For primates, it is the destruction of an entire world. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering your home no longer exists. Your food is gone. Your family has become separated. The places you memorized since childhood have vanished. This is exactly what countless primates experience every single day. A gorilla family may suddenly find itself trapped between farms. An orangutan may spend weeks searching for fruit trees that no longer exist. A troop of monkeys may be forced to cross dangerous roads where many never make it to the other side. The forest does not disappear all at once. It breaks apart into smaller, isolated islands of habitat. Scientists call this habitat fragmentation. At first, it may not seem catastrophic. The trees are still there, some animals remain, but slowly the consequences begin. Groups become separated. Young males cannot find new families. Genetic diversity declines. Food becomes scarce. Conflicts increase. Diseases spread more easily. A forest that once supported thousands of animals can suddenly support only hundreds. Then comes another danger, the illegal wildlife trade. Around the world, young primates are captured and sold as exotic pets. To obtain a single baby, hunters often kill the entire family protecting it. A mother gorilla, a chimpanzee, an orangutan, each one willing to risk everything for a child. Many do not survive. The infants that are taken lose far more than their freedom. They lose the years of learning only their families could provide. Without those lessons, many can never return to the wild. Then there is disease. Because humans and great apes are so closely related, many of the illnesses that affect us can also affect them. A common cold, influenza, respiratory infections, diseases that are mild for humans can become deadly for wild gorillas and chimpanzees. That is why researchers entering protected forests wear masks, keep their distance, and follow strict health protocols. Sometimes, the greatest act of conservation is simply staying away. Climate change adds another layer of uncertainty. Rainfall patterns shift. Fruiting seasons become unpredictable. Long, dry periods affect forests that evolved under stable conditions. Animals must travel farther, work harder, consume more energy. Every small change creates another challenge. And yet, despite everything, there is still hope. Across Africa, Asia, and South America, thousands of people dedicate their lives to protecting primates. Wildlife rangers patrol forests day and night. Veterinarians rescue injured animals. Scientists study their behavior to better understand how to save them. Local communities plant new forests. Governments establish national parks. Children grow up learning that these remarkable animals are worth protecting. Some primate populations, once close to extinction, are slowly beginning to recover. It is proof that when humans choose to protect nature, nature often responds. Perhaps this is the greatest decision our species now faces. Will future generations know gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, and monkeys only from photographs? Or will they still hear their calls echoing through living forests? The answer depends on us, because for the first time in millions of years, the future of an entire branch of evolution rests in human hands. And perhaps saving primates is about more than saving animals. Perhaps it is about protecting the last living connection to our own ancient past. Before we leave these forests forever, there is one final question we must answer. What have primates taught us about ourselves? For millions of years, primates survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, changing climates, powerful predators, disease, competition. They adapted again and again. They evolved, learned, endured. But today, they face a challenge unlike anything in their evolutionary history, a threat they cannot outrun, cannot outfight, cannot outsmart. Humans. Every minute, vast areas of rainforest disappear. Ancient trees that stood for hundreds of years fall within seconds. The sound of chainsaws replaces birdsong. Roads cut through forests that once stretched endlessly across continents. What was once a living kingdom becomes empty land. For us, it may look like development. For primates, it is the destruction of an entire world. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering your home no longer exists. Your food is gone. Your family has become separated. The places you memorized since childhood have vanished. This is exactly what countless primates experience every single day. A gorilla family may suddenly find itself trapped between farms. An orangutan may spend weeks searching for fruit trees that no longer exist. A troop of monkeys may be forced to cross dangerous roads, where many never make it to the other side. The forest does not disappear all at once. It breaks apart into smaller, isolated islands of habitat. Scientists call this habitat fragmentation. At first, it may not seem catastrophic. The trees are still there. Some animals remain. But slowly, the consequences begin. Groups become separated. Young males cannot find new families. Genetic diversity declines. Food becomes scarce. Conflicts increase. Diseases spread more easily. A forest that once supported thousands of animals can suddenly support only hundreds. Then comes another danger, the illegal wildlife trade. Around the world, young primates are captured and sold as exotic pets. To obtain a single baby, hunters often kill the entire family protecting it. A mother gorilla, a chimpanzee, an orangutan, each one willing to risk everything for a child. Many do not survive. The infants that are taken lose far more than their freedom. They lose the years of learning only their families could provide. Without those lessons, many can never return to the wild. Then there is disease. Because humans and great apes are so closely related, many of the illnesses that affect us can also affect them. A common cold, influenza, respiratory infections, diseases that are mild for humans can become deadly for wild gorillas and chimpanzees. That is why researchers entering protected forests wear masks, keep their distance, and follow strict health protocols. Sometimes, the greatest act of conservation is simply staying away. Climate change adds another layer of uncertainty. Rainfall patterns shift. Fruiting seasons become unpredictable. Long, dry periods affect forests that evolved under stable conditions. Animals must travel farther, work harder, consume more energy. Every small change creates another challenge. And yet, despite everything, there is still hope. Across Africa, Asia, and South America, thousands of people dedicate their lives to protecting primates. Wildlife rangers patrol forests day and night. Veterinarians rescue injured animals. Scientists study their behavior to better understand how to save them. Local communities plant new forests. Governments establish national parks. Children grow up learning that these remarkable animals are worth protecting. Some primate populations, once close to extinction, are slowly beginning to recover. It is proof that when humans choose to protect nature, nature often responds. Perhaps this is the greatest decision our species now faces. Will future generations know gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, and monkeys only from photographs? Or will they still hear their calls echoing through living forests? The answer depends on us, because for the first time in millions of years, the future of an entire branch of evolution rests in human hands. And perhaps saving primates is about more than saving animals. Perhaps it is about protecting the last living connection to our own ancient past. Before we leave these forests forever, there is one final question we must answer. What have primates taught us about ourselves? And so, our journey through the secret kingdom of primates comes to an end. But perhaps this was never just a story about gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, or monkeys. Perhaps it has always been a story about us. For millions of years, these remarkable animals have lived beneath the rainforest canopy. They have survived ice ages, volcanoes, mass extinctions, changing climates, powerful predators, and the endless challenges of evolution. Long before humans built the first cities, a gorilla mother was already protecting her child. A chimpanzee was already teaching the next generation. An orangutan was already building a home high in the trees. A troop of monkeys was already working together to survive. Their story began millions of years before ours, and somehow it is still being written today. Perhaps that is why looking into the eyes of a great ape feels so different. For a brief moment, it is almost impossible not to recognize something familiar. A quiet intelligence, a parent's love, a child's curiosity, a leader's responsibility, a friend's loyalty. The emotions we often believe make us uniquely human have much older roots than we ever imagined. The forests still whisper their stories. The mountains still belong to the gorillas. The rivers still guide the chimpanzees. The towering trees still shelter the orangutans, and the endless canopy still echoes with the voices of countless monkeys, living lives as complex, as fascinating, and as meaningful as any found in human history. Yet today, their greatest challenge is no longer nature, it is us. Every tree that falls takes away another piece of their world. Every forest destroyed erases millions of years of evolution. Every species lost takes with it knowledge that can never be recreated. Because extinction is not simply the disappearance of an animal. It is the disappearance of an entire way of understanding life. Perhaps protecting primates is not only about saving wildlife. Perhaps it is about protecting the last living connection to our own ancient past. A reminder of where we came from, and maybe a guide to where we should go. The story of primates teaches us something extraordinary. Strength is meaningless without compassion. Intelligence is meaningless without wisdom, and survival means very little. If we forget the world that made us possible, the forests do not need us to rule them. They only ask that we allow them to exist. Because every living primate is carrying a story that began over 60 million years ago, a story that survived everything Earth could throw at it. Now, its future depends on one species alone, ours. So before you leave, take one last look into the eyes of a gorilla, a chimpanzee, an orangutan, or even the smallest monkey. You are not simply looking at another animal, you are looking at one of your oldest living relatives, a survivor, a teacher, a witness to Earth's greatest history, and perhaps the closest reminder that humanity has never truly stood apart from nature. We have always been a part of it. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Secret Kingdom of Primates. If you enjoyed this documentary, support the channel by leaving a like, subscribing, and turning on notifications for more breathtaking wildlife documentaries in 8K Ultra Vision. And now we would love to hear from you. Which primate amazed you the most, and why? Tell us in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring, keep protecting, and never forget, the greatest civilization on Earth was never built by humans. It has been growing quietly beneath the rainforest canopy for millions of years.